Welcome back to episode 5 of Little Rock Ridge. I thought I'd take this opportunity today to give you some updates on me and the channel. The Discord, now named Planet Little Socks, has surpassed 100 members. There are a whole bunch of cool people who hang out there, including some names you might recognise, like Yura, Combat Wombat, Nerdchacho, and even today's guest, Seblines. If you're not familiar with Discord, it's simply a place to chat with like-minded folk, share screenshots, and ask for advice on your current builds. My A Very British Park series is still doing incredibly well, with episode 1 racking up over 13,000 views. It also got featured on Channel 5 Gaming, so make sure to go and check that out.
Look at that. See, looking down and seeing all those guests running around and walking about, seeing the view of the coaster, running beautifully. This is just perfect in my opinion. Perfect little park spotlight.
As you may or may not know, I spend a lot of my time on Twitch, watching various Planet Coaster streamers, most of all an incredible creator named PoetrySlam78, so make sure to go check her out.
And it's a lovely little splash pad with a pirate ship and a tiny slide for little folks and, you know, all sorts of things that just are fun. I got this. I know what I'm doing. It's hard to believe. I know. But I do know what I'm doing. Look at the reflection. Don't you love the water in this game? I mean, it can be a pain in the...
A fair few people have been asking me if I'm going to start streaming, and the answer is yes, definitely at some point. So watch this space. Finally, I am extremely excited to announce I'm going to be lending my voice to a video game. That's all I can say at the moment, but stay tuned for further updates. Anyway, less about me, more about our next guest, Seblines. Seblines is a legend builder and moderator in the Channel 5 gaming community, placing in the top 3 of 6 separate contests, winner of the Exploration Coaster Award for Rapture, a Bioshock experience, and awarded Creator of the Year in the annual Community Awards. Having fought his way through his mountain of awards, he's here today to talk us through his build.
Hey you people, I'm Seblines. For my contribution to Moment's Little Rock Ridge Park, I built a ride skin for the ZOZO, which I named Ralph's Rickety Rotator. Being limited to only main game items is a fun challenge, for sure. There's a lot of small items and lights that you suddenly cannot use. I found myself using items I had forgotten existed, or using items in ways that they probably weren't intended to be used. I don't know where my inspiration for this work came from exactly. Probably from Western films and games and whatnot. But I do remember my thought process. I first marked out which areas the ZOZO swings through, so I could keep those free of scenery. Then, I planned out the queue, and created a composition of sorts, to make sure that where I wanted to put a house, there was actually space for it, and the ZOZO wouldn't hit that structure. Finally, I added all the little details, the signs, the ropes and lights, and made sure it had a generally polished but still wild looking look to it. The final result is this, Ralph's Rickety Rotator. Ralph is a local entrepreneur residing in Rustville, and has converted some old equipment into a probably safe ride. Do you dare to try it out? I hope it fits into Little Rock Ridge well, Moomin. And I hope you, and all the viewers, have a wonderful day.
The detail in this ride skin is beyond comprehension. A wonderful creation with a super fun backstory to go along with it. Thanks, Seblines. Moving to the west side of the park, I started off by creating another country road, this one at ground level, slightly wider, and with road markings. I created some raised banks before giving it a nice dusty paint job. Next, I created some more rolling hills, much the same as the ones on the northern side of the park. I used the foundation tool to create the shelves, smoothed it all out, and then added a whole host of trees. Once again, the important thing here is to hide sightlines from inside the park. For this service entrance to the park, I felt it would be nice to have some sort of converted farmhouse, perhaps now used by the park groundskeeper. As this is only part of the exterior, I kept it nice and simple. I used classic brick for the walls and scallop tile for the roof. Next, I created some guttering using the plain wooden pillars painted black. To save turning Yura's sundial into a wrecking ball, I moved the house away just a smidge to allow plenty of clearance. Time for some doors and windows. I used the wooden double door and the plain windows, nothing fancy here. To break up the plain brick walls a bit, I added a beam around the middle of the building. Time for some foliage. I used some green bushes to create a small garden, and then mixed in some forest bush for some variety. A few trees before adding some bushes and flowers around the foundation of the house. I used some fencing and terrain paints to create a basic driveway. Next, I created a small pergola using the plain wooden pillars and carved wooden pillars. To add a bit of security to our service entrance, I built a road barrier. I started off using the hazard strips, but decided it looked like a heap of garbage and later swapped it out for a couple of poles. Finally, I added some more shrubbery to finish off this area. And there we have it, a fantastic western ride skin and handy service road complete with a gatehouse for our imaginary head of groundskeeping. Next week, Wix will be adding a beautiful little coffee shop whilst I tackle the small matter of accommodation. See you then. Say goodbye, Seblines.
Bye everyone.